Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats and silence all electronic devices. The ceremony is about to begin. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Commanding Officer of Support Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Arthur L. Graham III, welcome to the change of command ceremony of Captain Dylan G. Walsh and Captain Roland H. Nguyen. Will the guests please rise for the invocation given by Chaplain Commander Aaron Carlton and remain standing for the national anthem.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let us pray. Living God, a wise and good leader is a blessing to all the people. And we thank you for the examples that we have around us and before us today. And as the mantle of leadership for receiving company passes from one commanding officer to another, continue to bless the Marines of receiving company. We thank you for Captain Dylan Walsh and his inspirational leadership. His character and intensity reinforce a culture of success and professionalism that set the conditions for his company to thrive as they accomplish their mission. And as Captain Nguyen takes command, we ask that he and his Marines would continue to flourish with your blessing. May he continue to lean forward, inspiring Marines and recruits that they may be strong, fit, and ready for the hard work ahead. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. The company first sergeant for receiving company will now deliver the company guidon to commanding officer. The change of command ceremony is a time-honored tradition. It is a formal ritual conducted before the assembled company of the command. The change of command is unique in the world today. It is a transfer of total responsibility, authority, and accountability from one commander to another. The passing of the guidon is symbolic of the transfer of command from the outgoing commander to the incoming commander, and the exchange of positions represents the transfer of total responsibility from one commander to the other. From Commanding Officer to Captain Dylan G. Walsh, subject, relinquishment of command. Delivered effective 1100, 2nd of May, 2023, you will stand detached from your present duties as the company commander, receiving company. As you relinquish command, I want to thank you for a job well done. Signed, A.L. Graham III. From Commanding Officer to Captain Roland H. Nguyen, subject, assumption of command. Delivered effective 11/01, 2nd of May, 2023. You assume the duties as company commander, receiving company. You perform your duties in accordance with the recruit training order. Your responsibilities include the safety, well-being, efficiency, and readiness of your personnel to accomplish the mission. Signed, A.L. Graham III. In lieu of flowers to the families, a donation has been made to Mission 22, a nonprofit organization committed to supporting mental health, and suicide prevention for our nation's veterans. The command is grateful for the tremendous support of the families and loved ones present today. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of Support Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Arthur L. Graham, III.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Colonel Jones, Sergeant Major, fellow commanders, family and friends, thank you for being here. Truly, as we witness the transfer of authority from one commander to the next, first of all, sir, I want to thank you for being here as well, Colonel Jones. Your leadership, definitely has set the tone for the regiment. Your engaged leadership, that's what I mean. You've always been at each and every one of these change of commands, and you have provided guidance to all of the company commanders, including myself, and that has truly set the tone in order for them to move across the line of departure and operate within your intent. So I truly appreciate you being here. For Dylan, receiving company, right? Is truly the beginning of that transformation process, and it starts here for all of our Marines, and it's the end for a few, and it's been a lot of ups and downs. We've had our challenges with some few at-risk recruits, but throughout it all, you've been the right individual that handle those tasks each and every time. So I'm truly grateful for everything that you've done for Receiving Company, your passion, your dedication, your leadership, and most importantly, I truly admire your ability to teach and mentor our Marines. You take a lot of time out of your schedule outside of Marine Corps PMEs and teaching them what is necessary in order to thrive. Not even doing that for your Marines, but going to SCC, teaching the BMPers. So I'm grateful for that, and I know what's in store for you in the future. You'll continue to rise with success, and what we look forward to bringing you to battalion unless the depot has greater callings for you. All right, but thank you. Roland, welcome to the team. I know you're gonna do well. You have all the tools and everything that's necessary to succeed, so I look forward to our success. Where's Lieutenant Colonel? I gotta thank him again. He keeps sending 3rd Battalion to me, so thank you for sending another awesome officer to continue to build on the success that we have at Receiving Company. I'm gonna succeed the rest of my time to Dylan because I know he has a lot to say.
First and foremost, sir, Sergeant Major, Colonel Jones, Sergeant Major, Major Juarez, and the staff, I appreciate this opportunity. The last 12 months has been some of the best in my personal and professional career, and for that, I'm truly grateful for giving me this opportunity and this trust and confidence. Sir, to be completely honest, you've got that smirk on your face right now, and every meeting, whenever I start opening my mouth, and I think what that is you not knowing exactly what I'm gonna say or how long I'm gonna say it, but I want you to know that that's both of us. I'm gonna say that. So I appreciate that, sir. But really, change of command is really to recognize the Marines, to thank so many people in the audience. First and foremost, my family and friends. The love and admiration that you've shown me over these last 12 months has given me great courage and motivation to continue pushing during this very difficult, arduous assignment. So to all of you, thank you, and I appreciate you being here. And then really looking internally, what Receiving Company does and why I try to have family, born and raised in San Diego, so that makes it a little bit easier. But having family show up to see what our depot does and what these drill instructors do, because at the end of the day, it's not our yellow footprints, like these are America's yellow footprints. This is America's depot, and the general population, the civilian public, being able to see how great it is of what drill instructors and staff are doing day in and day out here, I'm truly grateful. What Receiving Company does is process nearly 17,500 young men and young women who volunteered to serve for a future in the United States Marine Corps and have taken that on wholeheartedly. During the first 4 days, from Monday night at about 8 p.m. until Friday afternoon, about 1 p.m., we passed those recruits off to their 12-week training company to take them through boot camp There's a lot of administration, medical, and dental support, and just really support from across the depot to get that to happen. So the RLS, Recruit Liaison Section, Master Sergeant Saad and his team that I work closely with, you know how I feel about y'all. I love you guys, man. But again, you know, medical, dental, administration, RAB, Chief Warrant Officer Salinas, Miss Grace, ma'am, every time you swing by my office, it's an absolute joy with that big smile on your face. Continue to do that. We absolutely love and appreciate you over at Receiving Company. There's so many others, support from chaplains and otherwise, and then really my internal company staff, from my company gunnery sergeants to my First Sergeant Kanyes, but really the two that were the mainstays and the majority of my time, First Sergeant Ski, First Sergeant Huckabee, both of you gentlemen, I appreciate your leadership, your engagement, and really having those late night conversations in my office. We're trying to implement difficult change and just being that sounding board of, sir, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. And I believe that despite those setbacks, despite that uncertainty and adversity, really did breed those seeds to great success. And I believe we found that over the last 12 months. So I appreciate your support. And finally, to the Marines, I just cannot express my gratitude and my envy for the job that you get to go as teachers, leaders, and mentors for these young men, these young women, and the future leaders of our nation, not only in the Marine Corps, but onward from that. So what you do as a father and mother figures of these young men and women, I'm extremely grateful for. So really when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, one of those conversations with Lieutenant Colonel Graham of trying to keep it short, and I will try to do that. Great rule of public speaking is to say that you'll keep it short and then not actually do that. But I promise to do that, and I'll keep it sweet, I'll keep it short, and if I can't do either, I'll be happy to buy you a beer after this. But with that being said, I really just kind of want to talk about this journey in the context of my appreciation and gratitude for the Marines and the job that they do day in and day out on this depot. It was about 13, 14 months ago, my boss's predecessor, Lieutenant Colonel Maese, called me in her office and started a very lengthy interview process. And she really told me, she's like, I really think you'd be a good fit for Receiving Company. She's like, there's a lot of changes that need to happen over there. There needs to be a focus on culture and bringing morale and all these other things to the forefront. So, ma'am, it sounds like there's about 50 things that you want to get done. I don't know if I'm the one for the job. But if I'm selected, I'll give you 110%, and I'll do anything and everything that I can to get Receiving Company to be the company and the unit that needs to be on this depot and for our nation. Sure enough, I worked for Lieutenant Colonel Maese for a couple weeks and then Lieutenant Colonel Graham, but really as soon as I showed up, and granted my new chain of command, Colonel Jones, Lieutenant Colonel Graham, were identifying things that need to get fixed as well. So I really enjoyed those 2 and 3 a.m. phone calls. We'll definitely miss that the most. But as soon as I stepped foot and took over as commanding officer, as Captain Nguyen is now done, as I looked around, and typically commanders, when they take over, maybe get about 30 or 60 days, take a step back, get to know the Marines, kind of see what's going on before they make changes. We were making changes within 24 and 48 hours because it wasn't at the standard that's expected of one, the chain of command in this depot, but also our nation as these young sons and daughters show up to these yellow footprints. So immediately started making changes, and it was hard. But instead of culture, I didn't focus on culture. We didn't need blankets, we didn't need shirts like a lot of the training companies have and whatnot. I didn't focus on culture. I chose to focus on the personal and professional development of our Marines. Because what I truly believe is that taking a hard look and selflessly serving those in your charge, that the mission will take care of itself. And I believe that to be true to this day. There are 3 things that I told my Marines when I first took over, and 3 things that I want to close out with today after a great 12-month run. But first was that the successes are yours and the failures are mine. The successes are yours and the failures are mine. One of the greatest commanders I ever worked for communicated that to me, and finding out what that meant is that everything Receiving Company did or failed to do was my responsibility. And we celebrated that greatness at the lowest levels possible to recognize those Marines that continue to do that hard work day in and day out. And sir, you can attest for this. I was very timid, but also excited to show up 6 and center at his desk when something was screwed up. Maybe I was on leave, maybe I wasn't even there, but that I had to truly show you and talk about those leadership lessons, I had to demonstrate by my own examples. So I took a lot on the chin, maybe things that I wasn't aware of or responsible for, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Because those recruits are entrusted to our care, it's my responsibility at the end of the day, should we fall short, because I didn't give you the resources or the capacity to be able to accomplish the mission. There are many greatnesses celebrated along the way. Second is understanding your impact, because your actions have the ability to influence a nation. Over the last 12 months, we've processed 16,317 young men and young women who show up to these yellow footprints, who attempt to earn the title of United States Marine. But in that spirit, and what I was thinking about when I was packing up my office yesterday is truly what that means and what the Marines do on this depot, given in the context of a letter that a recruit wrote himself, as many of them do. They show up Monday night in the contraband room. There's usually papers everywhere, flight itineraries, everything else. But in those, some letters fall out. In those letters, a recruiter has a recruit, an aspiring future Marine, write down, why is it so important that I do this? What do I have to rely on? And what's going to get me across the finish line of this race? And my chiefs, knowing that I love talking about leadership and power and influence and motivation, all these different things, typically Tuesday morning would show up with a couple that they may think I'd find interesting. And then later would talk about with the recruits when I gave them their performance optimization, really motivational class before they dropped into training that Friday. The one that stuck out as I was packing up yesterday: you're about to embark on the journey of a lifetime. You'll soon meet your drill instructors for the first time and stand on the yellow footprints where hundreds of thousands of heroes have stood before you. You want this challenge. You need this challenge. If I quit now, I'll always quit. And I refuse to continue taking the easy road in life. I choose to change the trajectory of my life and for my future family who will one day follow. For all those who have doubted me, told me I couldn't do it, or told me this wasn't the right path, I'm confident in my choice of living a life according to the Marine Corps' values of honor, courage, and commitment. Semper Fidelis means always faithful. Keep the faith, never lose hope. Your life will soon change forever. So that one recruit, as sometimes I do, as does the battalion commander, I followed up with that recruit 3 months later. Reached out to that company commander and saw if he was going to be walking across the parade deck at graduation that following day. Sure enough, after family day was over, I pulled that recruit out and had a conversation with him. I said, "Look, do you remember when you wrote this letter?" He said, "Yes, sir, I absolutely do." All of a sudden, he started having tears in his eyes. I said, "Son, what's wrong?" And he said, "My senior drill instructor saved my life." I said, what do you mean by that? What do you mean he saved your life? He said, "I came from a difficult upbringing. My father was in prison. My mother was in and out. I was in 16 different foster homes. It was the Marine Corps or prison. And that senior drill instructor was the father figure that I never had. And for that, I'm extremely grateful." I'm sure that young Marine is out doing incredible things, but it's not based on the leadership and engagement that happens within this room and across our ranks on this depot. And finally, in the focus of not focusing on culture, but the personal and professional development of our Marines within the receiving company, it's a quote that I reiterate often, but a quote that I started with and a quote that I'll end with. And it goes, "When you die, there's going to be a tombstone. It's going to have your name, the year you were born, and the day that you died. In between, there's going to be a little dash. And that dash is going to represent everything that you did in your life, good and bad. It's how you're remembered. What do you want your dash to represent? Our nation, time and again, continues to demand confident leaders, tactically and technically proficient Marines, and engaged, unwavering, and aggressive spirit. Time and again, you all exceed every single expectation. I'm confident in knowing that you'll continue to do that for Captain Nguyen, and that the best is absolutely yet to come. Continue to focus not just on your job, but on your personal and professional success for whether you do 4 years or 40 years in the Marine Corps. That we all focus on becoming better men and better women, not only for the future Marines that we will one day serve, but to be better fathers, brothers, sisters, mothers, and sons. For our nation needs strong men and strong women who are able to take that on. So at the bottom of my heart, thank you to each and every one of you in this room that have gotten to this point. Receiving company is in good hands. We'll continue to excel and achieve greatness in many different ways. So God bless, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, and the best is yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Captain Walsh's day. This 100%. And man, I appreciate that you taught me everything that you needed to teach me, and I know that this team will be the best team ever, and we'll only continue to improve from here on out. Thank you, Colonel Jones, for showing up to being here today as well, Sergeant Major. I appreciate every single battalion commander as well that was here. Every single part of my life has been growing here. And it's great. It's a great experience. And we see these recruits go across the street, and we see them grow. We see them graduate. We see them year to this day in the fleet. And it is an amazing feeling for us. And I'm overly excited to continue this. I just came from my company, finished my 12 months there, and now I'm here. I'm ready to do this again. I'm ready to just explode this whole entire place. Make great things. Make great things. Other than that, I hope that my team is going to be here for me no matter what. I know I'll contact everyone here that's been around here for a while, and we'll just continue to grow. That's all I'm going to say. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of Anchors Away and the Marines Hymn. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the Receiving Company Change of Command. Thank you for attending today's ceremony.
Sure.